Are we live? Are we live? Oh my god. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? We're live! Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How are all of you doing? Listen to Freedom Out of Head Pets. I hope you're all having a lovely, lovely morning. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Look at all the fishes. Today we are playing some Honkai Star Rail, and tonight I will be reading more. I'm trying to decide if I want to read more Nevermore or if I want to read more Daybreak. I'm kind of leaning towards Daybreak because my god, it is adorable and I really, really want to get into it. But then again, there were also new chapters of Nevermore, so, oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I might put up a poll after stream to decide, you know, if I stream Nevermore or if I stream me reading Webtoons Nevermore or Webtoons Daybreak, because oh, they're both so good, and I would highly recommend reading both. They're adorable. Anywho, I've seen people online on both like YouTube, like on YouTube, Twitter, and all over social media, talking about the sexuality of characters and writers saying, oh, they don't care whether or not you see their characters as gay or bi because they're never going to confirm it because it's not that big of a deal to them. You know, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. A lot of writers like that, their audience is gay or bi or trans or whatever, and they know this. But they don't want to fucking confirm it because they don't want to make angry parents upset. Or even not even necessarily angry parents, because a lot of times these shows like aren't even for kids. They just don't want to make angry homophobes upset. And it's just like, fucking commit. Make a decision. Especially like because representation matters, especially this day and age. Say it with me. Representation fucking matters. It does. So I had to get that out. Like, one of my favorite shows, and I know this came out in the early 2000s, so absolutely no shade because early 2000s censorship. Fun fact, for those of you who don't know, Alex from the show Wizards of Waverly Place was confirmed by the writers, I think like a couple of years after Wizards of Waverly Place ended. Hey Jessica, welcome. Hope you listening as I go to sleep. Hope you sleep well. I think I confirmed this. I think I confirmed like Alex was bi a few years ago, which looking back at the show Wizards of Waverly Place, because that was one of my childhoods. Yeah, I could kind of see it. And then we have Richie Foley from Static, who was very gay. Like, come on now. Like, the hints were all there, but again, they couldn't say anything because early 2000 censorship. First of all, that censorship needs to die because, like it or not, gay kids exist. Gay and trans kids exist, and kids with gay and trans parents also exist. That's just the reality. Y'all don't have to like it, but that is the reality. And no, having them only watch quote-unquote straight media is not going to make your child cis. That's just not how that fucking works, and it never is. I mean, think about this for a moment. Think about all of the people who have seen movies like, oh, I don't know, Aladdin, Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, that still turned out to be very, very gay. And I think I remember hearing a lot of trans girls saying that they related to Ariel, which I find interesting. I feel like a better metaphor for trans people would be Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot, but that's a whole different conversation. Especially with all the Transformer jokes. Like, representation does matter. And writers need to get the I don't care, like, how long I don't care if you're, like, afraid of getting backlash. Deal with it. Suck it up. Put on your big boy, your big girl, or big NB pants on. And fucking commit. We're not in the early 2000s where censorship needs to happen anymore. We're just not. Grow up. Because that kind of representation is important for pretty much everyone. But anywho. I just wanted to say all of that because it is very much Pride Month. Oh, it is also Scoliosis Awareness Month, which, if you don't know what that is, it is the curvature of the spine. I think the two most common types are C-curve and S-curve. There's probably more scientific names out there, but let's be real here. I'm not in the medical field. I don't get paid to know that shit. But, like, also, why do we need such a complicated name for scoliosis? You could literally just call it curved spine and everybody would know what the fuck you mean. Like, come on now. I feel like they do that shit just to make doctors sound smart. Like, we get it. You have a fucking PhD and know how to pronounce big words. Congratulations. I don't know, man. I feel like if medical terms were simpler in ways that people actually understood, it would be helpful. But, like, who cares if it sounds scientific or not? It needs to make sense to people who don't have degrees in the medical field. Anywho, and if you think a curved spine sounds painful, let me tell you from firsthand experience with somebody with a 60-degree curve. I'm not exaggerating, by the way, when I say 60 degree. The last time I got my spine x-ray, they said it was about 60 degrees, maybe a little bit over. It is painful. And the bigger the curve, the more intense your chronic pain is. And I don't know about everybody else, but when I was younger, it's not as bad now, but when I was younger, I had to skip school because the pain, like, in my back was so fucking bad. I remember there were also a few times where I had to sit out during, like, theater classes. Yes, your girl was a theater kid. Because my back just hurt so bad. It was awful. Thankfully, through the power of physical therapy, it's gotten better, but still not great. It's also why I tend to it's also why I occasionally end stream early, especially during ones where I read visual novels, because my neck and or back just fucking can't take it, because my god. Oh my god, it is not an easy or fun thing to deal with. 0 out of 10, would not recommend. I'm kidding. You can't magically choose to get scoliosis, nor is there a cure for it. It'd be cool if there was. There is not. The most you can do is get surgery, which in some cases actually makes it worse, especially if your curve is like it's already at a big degree. Like in fact, in my case, they recommended against surgery because of how big the curve is. So chances are they would, end up making the pain worse or paralyzing me like that. So yeah, no, not an option. Now, I am not a doctor, and I am not going to say whether every single person should get scoliosis, before their spine progresses to that point. That varies from person to person. I chose not to get it when my spine was a smaller curve, and frankly, I do not regret that decision. I am not going to sit here and say whether or not that is a good decision for somebody else. That is not my job. That is not my area of expertise, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it is. I do, however, say you should talk to a doctor. Because maybe it is the right choice for you. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe you need extra thinking time, but I do recommend anybody who has it to get physical therapy. If you can. And now let me tell you guys a story that I don't believe I've shared. Legitimately, somehow I never got diagnosed with scoliosis until I was 12. Wait. Yeah, till I was 12. And I don't know why. There were clear signs I was in pain. And the reason that I'm telling the story is because I feel like it's important for other people to know, and to hear this for anybody who's maybe have gone through something similar. I did not sit still. I could barely tie my shoes. I, couldn't play around. I didn't have the same agility as other kids, even though I was very flexible. And everybody thought it was because I had ADHD. I do not. What I have is FASD, which is what caused my scoliosis, and if you don't know what that is, it stands for fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. In my case, it's such a mild case that you could easily mistake it for autism or ADHD. However, that would not be the case, but that's a whole other conversation. Anywho, the reason is because I was in so much fucking pain. Did anybody notice the pain? Nope. And should I have talked about it? Yeah, but keep in mind, I was a child. I thought this kind of chronic pain was normal, and when I did talk about it, my incubator just said, oh, it's just growing pains, you're fine. I was indeed not fine. So I just, and I'm of course believing my incubator. And if you're wondering why I call it my incubator, that is a whole other can of worms. This is not why. So it doesn't help the situation. So I just sucked it up and didn't talk about it. So, yeah, I was in pain all the time. And legitimately the first person, and I didn't get I didn't get diagnosed until I was 12, like I said. But at this point, I was in foster care for incubator's questionable parenting choices. And while I was in the system, they got me x-rayed. And that was the first time I saw my spine, and I swear to God, it was like looking at a fucking horror film to my 12-year-old brain. Now, it doesn't faze me anymore, but to a 12-year-old, thinking that your body is completely normal, seeing that is absolutely terrifying. I was like, what the fuck is that? Honestly, I think at the time, I was just too shocked to even think. It was that terrifying to me. But yeah, things that were registered as me just having ADHD. It was just like, oh, it's just ADHD. Yeah, no, apparently it was chronic pain. Now, how does FASD affect this? Which, by the way, I was not diagnosed with that until I was in my 20s. I believe I was like 22 or something at the time. Basically, mommy drank while pregnant with me. But no, because we all know mothers are perfect angels, especially ones that have a white dad, because yeah, my grandpa was white. Very, very German. I mean, everybody thought she was sweet as pie. They're like, oh, there's no way. There's no way. She's the perfect parent. Yeah, no, she drank while pregnant with me. Fucked up my brain. And my spine in the process. Luckily for me, my case of FASD is it's so mild that you can't even tell, and it's only affected my brain and my spine. But yeah, if your kids are like having a hard time bending down and are like squirming around, and they tell you they're in pain. Like, if you know that they're having a hard time bending down to tie their shoes, they're squirming around in their chairs in school, and they're telling you you're in pain, don't ignore them and say, oh, it's just growing pains. Yeah, I mean, growing pains do exist. But if they're doing all of that, I guarantee you there is probably something wrong and you need to get that child x-rayed. Because I guarantee you, they might well, it might not even be scoliosis. It might be some other muscular or skeletal issue, but you need to take them to a doctor. Because that is not normal. And so theoretically, I could have been I could have had my spine treated sooner, and my curve wouldn't be as bad as it was with the brace. But hey, kids bully, so that would have been embarrassing, because people don't teach kids, hey, maybe don't be a fucking asshole to children with medical conditions. At least not in the early 2000s. I think they're slowly getting better about it now, but let's be real here, it's not much better. Yeah. Wanna get that all out? Ow, my fucking neck. Also, invest in good pillows. Really, this is a good tip for anyone, but especially for anybody with muscular and or skeletal issues. Also, it can prevent like potential or future muscular or skeletal issues. But anywho, let's get into the game, shall we? Also, oh my god, y'all, I rolled for fucking Blade last night, because I was just like, you know what? I'm too excited to do this on stream. We're doing it off stream. I don't give a fuck. I have him. I got him on my first fucking try, along with his light clone. Ah! The universe was on my fucking